So for step 7, attaching the steering rods, well, you can see that we've got these two bars, the BB11 and BB12. We've got adjusters that need to go on to either end, which are there, and we have some tapping screws and washers because we need to use those to attach them to C18, which are these two pieces here. And then we're going to put these adjuster rods into the servo saver to finish this step up. So obviously there are all the parts that we need, so I'll set this up and we'll put it together. So the first thing we need to do is we need to get this adjuster onto the adjuster rod. Now, in my case, I have these handy dandy shock pliers, and I can put this right to the final hole on the shock pliers. I've got a nice firm grip, and I can get this one started. And we'll turn this on. These ones seem to go on really, really nice. I have another tool that came in a BTO1 kit, but I don't need it for this because this is actually working quite well. So we're just going to turn that. Now you can see that this needs to be at 90 millimeters in length. So what you can do is, obviously it has to be from the end of the bar right to the end of the adjuster itself, and you're measuring 90 degrees. Now you can do this by a ruler, but I now have these calipers. I just find now that I've been using them, it's the best thing. So I want to make sure that I can get that 90 millimeter distance. I can tell at the left side there, it's actually a little bit short. So I'm going to turn this a bit more, or turn it back, you could say, and you can tell that the other thing is, you'll notice the hole needs to be facing up. You'll notice on this one they're showing that the hole is underneath, so you're not seeing it, but on the 90 millimeter one you want the hole facing up. So let's just do a quick test. Yes, let's take a look at this, make sure that that is correct. Yes, that is at the 90 degree, and I mean I can make that just sort of hold if I wanted to, but it is there. So it is now at 90 degrees or 90 millimeters. Fantastic. So that's all you have to do, is make sure that this is 90. And again, you don't need the calipers. You could just use a ruler if you don't have a set of calipers, but make sure that the distance is at the 90 degrees. Now, just because I've gone ahead and done the other one, it was to be set at 73 millimeters, so I've done that too. So you can see this one, the hole is facing down, and on this one, the hole is facing up. Now, the other thing is, Tamiya does a really good job with their instructions in that the diagram is pretty much at the 90 millimeters as well. So if you match this up to the diagram in the instructions, you could actually do this without the ruler as well. I tend to do double and triple checks just to make sure, and of course now with the calipers it just makes it that much easier because I have an exact number. But anyways, that's it for that part. So now we're going to attach the C18 brackets, which are going to be used to attach to the chassis. We're going to attach those now. So as you can see, there is a screw and a washer, and then it goes into these C18 pieces. Now, something interesting, I've noticed that one side has a hole and it's flat, and if you turn it over, notice that there's an added little ring around the hole. Now, I'm not entirely sure what that is for, but because it seems to be making the mark as though a washer was on it, I mean, I don't think that it makes any difference. I'm actually going to use that side to attach it to the servo. So if we grab one of our BA6 and we grab our washer here, I'm going to put it in the top hole, which is what it's showing it needs to be, and I'm going to put it into the whole side that has that added ring around it. And again, don't really know why that is, but that's what we're going to do. Now, in order to do this, I've got to make sure I can get that level. I'm going to now start screwing this in and make sure that it's going in as level as I can, which it's not. There we go. These, I find, can be somewhat finicky because you've got to be able to not only hold it, but you've got to be able to hold it down, because all it's going to do is turn. See? All it's doing is that. But we need it held tight so that you can get that in place. Now, let's try. I'll use my other hand here so that I can hold it down with my left thumb, because I'm left-handed, but I think I'm going to have to do it this way in order to screw it in properly. It seems to be working. Now, I'm not going to I'm not going to tighten it up all the way, and I'll show you why in a moment. But we'll leave it at that for now, but that has worked. And then we're going to take this one and do the exact same thing, where we've got to have that in the top hole, as you can see with that. And we're going to put it into the side that's got that ring around it. For no other reason than that's really just what I've just decided to do. And, whoops. Put that there. And grab that with the ring again. Yes. And I'm going to try and hold it down. While I get that into the hole. Well, that seems to be better. Now I'm going to hold this now with my right thumb, because obviously being left-handed, I need to use my left hand to turn that into place. Now, they're showing that going in where it's pretty much level to the servo. So you notice that the way this is, that piece is level to the top and level to the bottom. And you want it more or less level to the bottom because that's how it's going to attach to the chassis. So I'm going to make sure that that's as level to the bottom as possible before I tighten this up. But it feels right now. And that's more or less near the bottom. It's level. Level, yes. So, same again. So there we go. There are the two brackets that are going to be attached to the chassis in the next step. So that's ultimately what it's going to look like. Now with this one, there's the right. So what have we got here? Right and left. You can see that the shorter one is on the right, so on the right, and you'll see that it's going to go into the end hole. So we're going to go push it up and then twist, and there's one arm, and on this side the longer one. And it's funny, I'm looking for something that shows you right. Oh well, there you go, there's the right and left. They're just showing it up here, they don't show it here. So you know that the longer one is on this side, so we're going to push that into the hole right there and then twist up, and there it is. And you can see that the holes on the adjusters are in the right position because they're going to attach to the steering down at the bottom. So again, ultimately, that is how your servo should look once you have finished this step. So that is step 7 complete. So now we're going to move on to step 8, and we're going to attach the steering servo.